Hello.
Hello.
And welcome back to another wonderful episode of Metal Gear University.
I am T.
I'm K. We're TK&M.
That's who we are.
That's who we are. And we're your host. Welcome back. Everyone, thank you so much for sticking along with us as we are now on part 6 of this episode series, right? Of this game.
Yeah. I mean, we have been delving deep. And I feel like I've said this a lot, but I feel as if I feel like we really went into this not thinking that we would go as far as we have. And I'm not complaining.
As far as we have one in this game, or as far as like in the whole...
In this 101.
You thought it was going to be a shorter kind of series?
Not a shorter one. No. Okay. Back when TK&M was making Metal Gear University and we were talking about the 101 episodes, I foolishly thought that, oh yeah, okay, we'll just give like a rundown of Metal Gear Solid 2 and it should take like, I don't know, maybe like 3 episodes to do. And here we are at part 6 and I'm like, wow.
Also, you all are probably aware, as you probably see the length of this episode, this is a doozy. This is something that you're probably going to have to come back to. I feel like it's probably going to be close to more so 2 hours than not.
Maybe.
We have a lot of stuff. We wrote a lot of notes. We were looking at outside documents. We took some time with this.
Yeah, and I feel that with Metal Gear Solid 2 in particular, there's a lot of moments that leaves people scratching their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those games where you have to play it multiple times to like really get it, at least for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's dense.
It's very dense. And the part that we covered today is it's getting to the point where things begin to unravel and you begin to see things for what they really are.
And I think towards the end of this podcast, you'll see we wanted to really give some context to how the world was when this game released. So for those of you who played this back in 01, like 01 was a lot was happening in 2000 and 01 that I think gave this game such like a lot more weight.
For sure.
And I think people now, wow, it's again like a great game. I feel like there was a whole time period in conjunction with playing this game, you know?
When this game was released, it was like an event. It was one of those moments where it was like a lightning in the bottle sort of thing. The way that the world was, events that happened, the themes within this game, it was really one of those times where it was like everything lined up.
I feel like too, even if you think about the consoles that were released at the time, the access to consoles, who was playing video games, who had access to play video games, the way the game looked, you know what I mean? And the capabilities of how to create a game. You know, if this was on the NES, of course it carries some weight, but like I think that 3D element of it, having these realistic characters also it's so many things.
Yeah, this was a launch title. Like this was one of those games that pushed the PS2.
And it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
We also, before we jump in, we wanted to talk about, we have a new email. We created this because we thought, you know, of course, we would love for you to rate the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, review it. But also, if you wanted to send us questions, comments, suggestions for episodes.
Maybe our viewers have some cool little 201 topics, questions. That should be fun.
Yeah, that's essentially how the conversation went. So yeah, and honestly, after this Metal Gear Solid 2 discussion is done, it's gonna be a couple of 201 episodes. We have some ideas.
We got to balance it out. We really do.
Yeah.
We at the moment we only have one 201 episode, and I feel like especially for the veteran Metal Gear Solid fans, we got to treat them right. You know, they're in the corner starving right now.
Thank you all for listening, for hanging out. We got you all. And we got some cool ideas on deck. But that email it's tkandm@gmail.com. That is ITSTKANDM@gmail.com.
Yeah, we could probably put it in the description as well.
Oh, yeah. I've been slowly updating everything. We had another email. It was too long.
Uh-huh.
So I've been slowly changing everything to reflect it's tkandm@gmail.com.
It sounds official.
I'm hoping. I'm looking forward to nice, constructive emails, you know, so we'll see.
Mhm.
But yeah, any questions or comments, we'll be sure to read them on the podcast. That'd be so cool. But other than that, T, are you ready to dive in? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, I saw a certain trailer.
What trailer?
Knock
if you buck.
Knock if you buck. Knock if you buck. Knuckles?
Whoever put that as like the option for the theme for that trailer. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be like, I know people don't agree with me, but I'm tired of cinematic universes. I'm tired, and I think it's only because of one certain cinematic universe that has been in my life for decades, it feels. It's been in my life for decades, it feels. And every time I hear of like, ooh, cinematic universe, I'm done.
It just turns you off.
It turns me off. I will say, if this is apparently a 6-episode series for Knuckles, we have the Sonic 3 movie coming out in December, I will be sad.
And hear me out. What if, right, after Sonic 3, there's, like, let's say there's another Sonic movie, maybe like Sonic 4, right? Then, when they set up a whole lot of characters, the next Sonic movie is called Sonic Adventure.
I will be in that theater waiting.
I saw the hair standing up on your neck just now.
I will be sad. I will be in that theater.
And they do a version of City Escape.
Man,
I just see you in bliss right now.
What's funny, and I was telling I was telling T this, that the only Sonic games I've played were Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2.
That's wild to me.
So if they were to make a movie like that, and it's all the characters, okay, cool, I will be there. But I don't know. Like, sometimes you want to end on a high note. I feel like, how many movies do we need?
That's true.
You know, if they did Sonic 3 and then did Sonic Adventure and that's it, okay. But I'm just tired of these different, like,
you just don't
shows.
You don't want to see it like wane, right? You like leave on a high note, right?
Yeah, I like leave on a high note. I think that's perfect. It's wrapped nice in a bow. That was beautiful.
I mean, that's why people revered Star Wars for so long before that eventually got milked to oblivion.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I hear that... I mean, this is getting mad sidetracked right now. But I do hear that there is some cool
Isn't
Star
Andor
Wars.
really good?
I hear really good fucking things about Andor.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. To me... Like,
was it Rogue One, the movie that we loved? Is that the one?
Rogue One was incredible.
You see, so I feel like,
season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian were great.
You know,
I don't know. To me, like, if you give me so much of a thing, it doesn't feel special, and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of it anymore because it's just too much. Like, that's how I feel about Marvel movies right now, because back in the day, before Avengers, you had to watch like maybe like 4 movies, right? Mm-hmm. You could do that. You could do that in like an afternoon if you really wanted to. But like nowadays, you have to watch like 5 TV shows.
The Moon Knight, Daredevil.
And like, I don't want to do that, man.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't want to do it.
Just so that I could see a character for 2 seconds in the movie and be like, oh.
They're in the movie. And I'm like, man, I don't give man, no, I don't care anymore.
I don't care. The last time I felt something in a Marvel movie, I'm sorry, was Endgame.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's...
Where was Black Panther? After Endgame, or had it been before?
Black Panther was before Endgame.
Black Panther was
the
so
first
good.
one. The second one came out a few years ago.
That first Black Panther movie was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Like, but Endgame, I remember that being a moment, but I don't know. I'm tired. So I think, you know what? I'm jaded when it comes to cinematic universes. So I'll hold. I will try to be patient, try to be positive, but I get nervous. I want things to end on a high note. I hate seeing the little slope downwards in quality and, you know, storytelling. But yeah, Knuckles inside. We got a lot to say. I'm like always wondering what we say for intros, and then
we just kind of freeball it, and we're like, wow, we're here now. Okay.
It's 10 minutes. Also, today's Super Bowl, and we're so excited to see Usher.
Yeah.
Any particular songs you want to hear today, Tom?
Ooh. Well, to people that follow us on Twitch, I rant about my first job as a caddy, and I was stuck in a garage that stunk of gasoline, and I was paid off the books, meaning I only got paid when I got tipped. So I was sitting in this garage for hours on end. It was hot. There was no AC, stunk of gas, and all I heard was confessions over
Confession.
and over and over again.
So are you saying you're going to be triggered if you hear that?
I might be, but I concede it's a good song, so I might be excited to hear it.
It's a very bittersweet song.
It's
for you.
bittersweet for me, but
Confessions is on your list.
Confessions, yeah, that's a big one. Let It Burn.
Oh my God.
What? That one that he did with Jungkook would have been cool, but like
Standing Next to You.
yeah,
Standing Next to You.
but I don't think he's doing that. But like
Yeah.
that would have been cool.
I'm ready for it. JP.
Oh,
Justin.
you think he's coming out? You
I-
think he's doing it?
Man, I feel like I'm back in like, was it 2009?
wow. That was terrible.
Yo, we're
maybe
keeping it in.
Maybe I can find an auto-tune edit.
You should. Oh, in Premiere, I got the purple fit ready. I'm waiting for that. Somebody to love. I got auto tune that too.
Mhm.
But I'm ready for that song. But yeah, we're gonna be watching football because we're into football now.
Yeah, we're really into football now.
We're sports
Yeah,
people
we're
now.
super sports people. The people that know us know that we are super into sports of all kinds,
Of all kinds.
especially team sports like football.
Tom, you know what time it is?
What time is
It's
it?
time for the pop quiz.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's a very smooth transition. Are you ready?
I'm born ready.
So today we have decided that you will be asking me the questions, right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I am ready for these pop quiz questions, of which we have 5. But I am nervous because the game is getting a lot more intense.
Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna lie to you, it is. And I feel like I've been the recipient of these questions for a little while now.
You are the expert.
Yeah, but come on.
My turn.
You go for tit for tat.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. So, question number 1. What was the difference between President Johnson's and Solidus's motivation to obtain Arsenal gear?
I really like this question, and I like that it's open-ended because it gives people more time to try to like find the right answer. I'm stalling now so I can remember. But the difference between President Johnson's and Solidus's motivation to obtain Arsenal gear was that President Johnson actually intended to join the Patriots using Arsenal gear. He wanted it as kind of like a bargaining chip. Solidus was like, no, I'm trying to erase them. I'm using it for power as a way to destroy them. So that is kind of where in the game President Johnson had that change of mind where he was like, we meet him and he's like, oh, I changed my mind in 2 hours after deciding to side with Solidus. It was because he realized like, oh, Solidus is real. He's trying to he's trying to eradicate what I'm trying to join.
I see.
So that was the difference.
That is correct.
Was that okay?
That was fine.
Okay.
You did. That was a fine answer.
Thank you.
And to those who are listening that had that same kind of answer, good job. And if you did not come with that answer, you're wrong. But that's okay. Question number 2. How many people are in the Wise Men's Committee?
The Wise Men's Committee, also known as the Patriots, right? Or no, the Patriots are comprised of the Wise Men's Committee.
Yes.
Okay, I guess it's a better way to phrase it.
It's like a subgroup of, I think the Patriots is like the wider umbrella, and then the Wise Men's Committee is like the head of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's why I wanted to, because like they have their like, probably their, anyway. So the Wise Men's Committee is the leaders of the Patriots.
Yes.
And there are 12 of them.
You're right. There are 12 of them.
Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I would like to note, in the game, I don't remember the exact icons that are shown of people when they discuss the Wise Men's Committee, but I think Wise Men's is not like a term of just like it's all 12 men. I think it's more like man as in human, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, 'cause I feel like I got that impression from the pictures, or were they all
All the
masculine looking?
all the pictures, they appear to be masculine looking
Okay.
people, but you could say that this is President Johnson's interpretation. So
That is a good point, right?
we don't know. Maybe in future installments we will see what the Wise Men's Committee really looked like.
That is a good point, because he doesn't really know.
Because like they
that.
also had bars over their faces and shit like that. But
That is a good point.
we'll see.
All right, but I am correct.
You are correct.
I knew it.
Aha. I wouldn't expect any less. Question number 4.
Number 3.
I can't count. I'm sorry. Question number 3. Who is EE and what is she specialized in?
EE is Emma Emmerich,
Uh-huh.
and she is Otacon's sister. I would say stepsister. They're not related by blood.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't seen her in a while. And she is specialized in neuro AI, which is why she's in this area now, because she's helping with the Arsenal Gear and GW program.
You're correct. You're correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, question number 5. No, I'm 4. I'm sorry. Question number
I was like, damn it, Tom.
Question number 4. For people who have played this game or who are currently playing this game, this question is specifically for you. Snake, in a cutscene, tells Raiden that he knew about Arsenal Gear. Why didn't he tell Raiden about it?
Yeah, this is a very small moment in the cutscene, and we thought it was a funny question to ask because, as we go through this game, Raiden is given some information from everybody he knows. They always seem to know more than him, and they also know just enough to give to him. So there's a point where Snake's like, I know about Arsenal Gear, and Raiden goes, why didn't you tell me about it? Snake says, because you never asked.
What a dick. You're correct.
That is literally at this end.
Okay. In all honesty, at what point would I ever sanely ask another person, hey, the building that I'm in, is it like a giant robot?
You know.
When would that?
Maybe Snake is trying to hint to Raiden, like, you should ask more questions. But also, too, is the building.
But what kind of question is that?
Question everything.
Okay, question everything. Okay, I agree with that. Question everything. But is Snake seriously considering that Raiden should ask him at some point in time, hey, Snake, are we in a giant Metal Gear right now? Is this whole place a Metal Gear?
It's sad to me.
They're going to go into a supermarket together and they're just picking out eggs or something. It's like, hey, Snake, are these eggs Metal Gears? Yeah.
Good question. I just feel like it's sad because at this point, you can tell, and even for me playing, you're like, Snake is that's my boy. Me and him are the same team. It's like, no, you're not. Like, Snake isn't kind to you, but he's also just like, he's there for him. He got his own goal.
Yeah. I mean, he's got your back, but like he's there on his own reasons, you're a part of his plan. You know what I mean? Like, you're not in this as team members. Mm-hmm.
But am I correct?
You are correct.
Thank
you are correct.
Thank you.
Now, question number 5. This question is also a little open-ended.
And it's the last question.
It is. What are the Patriots so afraid of?
I might need your help for this because I think I do know it, but I want to make sure I say it well.
Sure.
So the Patriots are essentially nervous about what they call an overabundance of digital information. Essentially, they're scared of the internet and people's access to it. They want to have a means by which they can control how people obtain information, because then they can say, okay, here's the information that you can have, and they can get rid of other stuff that doesn't fit their narrative or their goals.
You're correct.
Okay.
You're correct. Now, today, we're going to just so happen to go even deeper into that train of thought. But as of right now, that is the correct answer. Yes.
You mean as far as what happens in the game?
Well, yeah. In today's episode, a little preview. we're delving into more of what the Patriots want to do.
Mm-hmm. So
buckle up, kids.
Buckle up. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Let's get class started.
So after Raiden fights Vamp, and Vamp falls into the water and supposedly I don't believe it for a second, but he drowns. Raiden calls Colonel and he tells him that the final check procedure for Arsenal gear has been completed. And Colonel's like, you got to get Emma and install that virus program ASAP. Raiden then talks with Snake and Otacon and lets you know that while you secure Emma, they're going to secure the computer room in Shell 1 to work in. Otacon is nervous to reunite with Emma. He quotes, "I have no right to see her." And Snake is like, "We can't get into the details. Raiden, just go."
Yeah, it's very apparent that there's, I don't want to say bad blood between Otacon and Emma, but they haven't seen each other in years. So he's very hesitant. And I get the impression that he has told Snake what's happened. And Snake's like, look, we're going to spend hours on this. Raiden, go. Otacon, we'll get through this. Raiden, just get Emma. Like, let's keep it going because
Snake has heard enough of this.
So you continue on and you do your sneaky stuff, go around and you find EE. She's like in this locker room type section. Mm-hmm. You go into the room and you can like knock on the lockers, it opens, you get items. And then there's one locker and you hear someone going like someone wincing in fear. So you knock on it, you hear it cues up the cutscene and Raiden opens it, his beautiful flowing hair, beautiful face. She pisses herself. Mm-hmm. Like even though they're not blood, they're very much related. Her and Otacon.
It is the Emmerich family tradition.
Some beautiful man comes and saves you, and you just pee on yourself. Mm-hmm. Raiden's like, "Are you all right?
Are you all right?"
What do you think?
Embarrassed.
like literally pees on herself. He's like, "Are you all right?" What comforts her though is that Raiden motions for her to talk on the nano
the codec.
The codec, yeah, to talk on nanos. And to her, she's like, okay, you're not one of them. I don't know why the nanos would suggest that he's not one of them, but I guess it's just
probably because maybe codecs are like a US designated thing.
Or like a government thing too. Like,
yeah.
You know.
I mean, and also you wouldn't expect like Russian mercenaries to have this sort of tech on them.
That's a good point. Someone's coming to save you. They're going to have all the little bells and whistles to...
Yeah.
Good point. So they begin talking, and there's this weird moment during this cutscene where Raiden grabs E's hands. I was telling you about this. You know, you're talking to E, you're speaking with her, trying to get her to kind of like, you know, hey, I'm here to save you. Mm-hmm. And Raiden and EE share this moment where they lock eyes and he grabs her hand and it's quiet for a moment. Do you remember that?
You know, it's funny. I had no memory of this. And then when we were doing our research and we were like, hey, what the hell is that about?
It was honestly, for those who are interested, go back to that cutscene where you find EE. And it's a split moment. I mean, you know what it is because it's the moment right before the room begins to flood.
Yeah, it like...
It's a split second.
Yeah, he's pulling EE out of the locker, and it's like it goes into slow motion. There's like this special sound effect that plays, and I have no idea why they chose that creative route to go on.
You see, but there's a moment they have. If anyone has any question, any answer to that, it's tknm@gmail.com. Let us know. But they have a little moment, and then, like I said, the room begins to flood. At this moment. This is when EE goes, well, you were reminded she can't swim.
I can't swim.
Otacon already tells you, had already told you. She also states that her legs were injected with a numbing agent. So it's also difficult for her to walk. So this is like a real rescue mission.
Yeah, she's stuck. If she can't walk, she definitely can't swim. Even if she could swim, she can't now.
Yeah. So she's honestly a little, like you are tasked with like, pulling her or carrying her. Like, you're not giving many options. She is really... she needs a lot of hand-holding. Mm-hmm. What I love about this moment is... And this is happening as the room is flooding. Raiden gives this really supportive like statement to E. Like he gives her a little pep talk, but I feel like it was such a great character moment for him because I feel like no one else in this game has given him that kind of moment of real reassurance and real support. And you know, he's literally giving her a method to calm her down. He's like, "Look, I'm going to have to swim. You're going to have to hold on to me, but I want you to listen to my heartbeat. I want you to hear that and know I'm here and we're going to get through this."
I feel like he would make a good therapist.
He would make a fantastic social worker. Because that's actually something that, like, if someone's having a panic attack, keep their attention on something else. You also try to speak to them calmly. You try to give them patience. And he's giving everything to her. So I feel like this was, I don't know, it was a cool little, like, moment we get to see who Raiden is. Especially when not faced with adversity or someone berating him.
Yeah, it kind of opens up that window on what kind of guy he is outside of work, right?
Especially too, given that he's like this really intense soldier. He's coming in to like fight these terrorists. And at the root of it, he's just like this patient, calming guy. You know, I like that. This mechanic though, like speaking of EE listening to your heartbeat and whatnot, in the swimming levels, you have to manage her O2 gauge now.
Yeah. Before,
of course, you had to navigate your own O2 while you were swimming through these levels.
And it's a pretty sizable O2 meter. So like you have to like get up for air, but Emma's is significantly shorter.
Yeah. So that's something else that's added to this. Is it harder to swim with her on you? Do you remember?
Not really. However, there are some like underwater mines throughout the area, and people that are not acclimated to the controls well enough, it can prove a little challenging because it makes your hitbox, so to speak, like
a little bit bigger.
So you have to be mindful with Emma on your back.
So be mindful of the hitboxes and her lower O2 gauge.
Yeah.
I think what's cool, and you told me about this, there is medication you can take called pentazamine, and it makes your heartbeat slower. In the terms of the game, does it make your, like, what does it do if you take it prior to this level?
If you take pentazamine during this portion of the game.
Previous to this? Yeah.
Oh, it steadies your hands while you're shooting a sniper rifle.
Okay, but if you take it now.
If you take it now, it slows your heart rate down. And since Emma is listening to your heartbeat and she's counting the beats, her O2 meter will go down slower because she's concentrating on your heartbeat.
So it gives you a little bit of a boost, I would say, right? Like it's a little tip to help you navigate this.
Yeah. And it's a cool little feature that like Kojima did not have to do. Like he really didn't have to do that at all. But he actually like thought to put that in. I think that's like a really cool detail to put in, you know?
No, it's cool. I know, I like it. And I think too, pentazamine is a fictional take on like benzodiazepines. So those are depressants. You take that. They're medications that keep you calm essentially. So people take it like benzodiazepines for anxiety, depression. A common medication, a common benzodiazepine would be Xanax.
I see.
So these keep you a little bit calmer. And
so they're out there popping Xannies?
Ryan is out there popping a Xanax.
Wow.
You know what? I think he deserves a Xanax.
Okay.
If anyone's going to take a Xanax.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny if they actually use brand name medications in this game. It's like, Raiden, pop a Xanax if you want to steady your hands with a sniper rifle.
But it just makes me sad because, like, I know, like, people take Xanax for anxiety or, like, panic disorders. So it's like...
I mean, to be real, everybody in this game could probably use some antidepressants.
I know. That's what I think about. It's their mental health.
Uh-huh.
It makes me so sad that they have to take that. But that's a cool little note, too, if you're having trouble with this level. You pop up pentazamine and it'll give you a little bit more seconds to work with Emma. So, of course, you're navigating through this water level, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And unsurprisingly, EE begins to open up to you, which I think, you're gaining this relationship with her because not only are you calming presence, but you actually are a hero. Like, you're
saving her. You're literally saving her.
EE begins to say, she loved her brother. They're very close. So she's kind of giving you, I would say it's kind of in mirror to what Otacon's saying. Otacon's scared to see her. Otacon's like cautious. And he's like, no, I miss him. Like, I want to be with him.
I want to see him again.
Yeah. So you're getting kind of like the other side of the story. In this, you also get a major meme of the series.
Mm-hmm. Me saying it isn't going to do any justice. So give it a second. Here it comes.
Raiden, what's your status?
Colonel, I've got Emma Emmerich here. We've managed to avoid drowning.
Good job.
That's been memed to death. I had to put it in there.
That is like a major. I don't remember.
It's up there with
A dud!
A dud.
yeah.
Why are those so like? I guess it's just the line delivery, right?
It's kind of corny, but it works.
We managed to avoid drowning. That's a very. If you're new to the series, that's a major meme. There are a lot of memes in this series.
Are you saying memes?
Memes. There are so many memes, but that's one of them. So you should know it if you're new to the series. You continue talking with Emma, getting to know more about her, and eventually there comes a time where you call Snake, I believe. Right? You're asking him questions about, I don't even remember.
I believe this is when Snake tells you that you're heading to the computer room.
Oh, like they're there. I think they're saying like we secured
we're
it.
securing it, and Otacon is here, more or less.
And at this moment, since you have EE, Otacon's there too, they have a reunion over codec. EE and Otacon speak for the first time. They have no visual contact, but this is the first time they're speaking to each other in years.
Yeah. Pretty major. Pretty major.
EE off the bat comes off and she's like, I joined the Metal Gear Project to hurt you, Otacon.
Yeah, she said that she wanted to see him suffer.
Jeez. And it's funny because EE's character model, she looks like a child. I know she's a young woman, but she's very petite.
Yeah, I think it's like that archetype of like, maybe she's like 20 years old, but she's like a
young genius,
a prodigy. Right? Like they scouted her in college. She's like, she scored the highest test scores in all the nation. We need her on this project.
Yeah, she looks very young, especially compared to like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so her being like, I did this to hurt you. They go back and forth. Otacon's a little sad. He's like, you knew our family history. Why would you do this?
Yeah, for those who may not be in the know, Otacon's grandfather designed the atomic bomb, and his father was born the day of, I believe it was Hiroshima.
We can look it up.
Yeah, I'll make sure. It was either Hiroshima or Nagasaki. I believe it's Hiroshima.
Future Tom?
Otacon's father was born on August 6th, 1945, which was the date of the Hiroshima bomb.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So they have this really weird connection to mass moments of destruction and pain and death. Mm-hmm. And of course, Arsenal Gear and Metal Gears, that's kind of all they do is continue
death machines.
So Otacon's like, why would you do this? You know our history. And Snake at some point is like, enough. Stop bullying my man. Okay. I know this is a reunion. Like, this is not the time. We have to continue. And so at this point, there is another big lore dump between you and EE.
Yeah. Where this conversation is taking place is where you fought Vamp. So this is kind of like more or less a safe haven as of right now.
Vamp is gone.
Vamp is gone. So it's kind of like a little safe room. But in order to proceed, you have to go through an entire floor filled with water. And before you hit this second wave, so to speak, Raiden presents Emma with this virus that she has to input into the computer room.
The CD.
The CD, yeah. And she's like, what? I made this.
She says this is her program. Genius. Women in STEM. I love
Women in STEM, baby. So she pretty much tells you that this virus is made to mimic Fox Die.
Okay.
Which is from Metal Gear Solid. It's a reference to the bioweapon. Mm-hmm. Now, it doesn't say particularly what it does, but Foxdie, from what we remember, it kills people based on their genetic information. So with that knowledge, we could assume that this digital version deletes certain aspects of a system's operating capability.
I mean, essentially, what she says is that her program is a worm cluster. She describes it as being a delayed effect autonomous program. And it's supposed to invade GW's cerebrum and render its nerve connections useless. So this is a kind of loaded sentence or statement because we're mixing kind of human biology with computer science. Cerebrum, nerve connections.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of like in relation to what you were saying with Foxdie. GW, it's going to have a delayed effect of targeting certain things that help GW run and render it useless. Essentially.
Which is cool.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So Raiden is presenting her with this virus, and she's like, how did you come across this program? And he's like, oh yeah, you don't know. Well, you see, the president was assassinated recently, so he gave this to me.
Yeah, he's gone, and I have this. Good luck. She has no time to really reel over that. She's just like, okay, she knows her task now.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, given the circumstances, I would be like, okay, yeah, I mean, I kind of saw that coming. Okay.
EE talks about how she also created GW.
Damn.
She is a genius. Remember, again, I feel like I want to do this continuously with this podcast. Keep reminding people what corresponds to what. Uh-huh. So again, remember, GW is the program that's in conjunction with Arsenal gear.
Yeah, if we're going to bring maybe like body parts and technological stuff and merge them together, think of Arsenal gear as the body and GW is the brain.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I like that. EE confirms that Arsenal gear is a way to control massive amounts of data. The Patriots are afraid of the advancement of the digital age and how quickly information can be shared between individuals. That's what the Patriots are really nervous about. It's people like one-to-one exchanging information and data and thoughts. It's because that goes quick. That's so instant.
Yeah.
And it's hard to control.
Yeah. I mean, in the old days, you just had to control like the 3 television stations and the newspapers. And then you pretty much controlled everything.
We're talking about, if we think about the internet, emails, text, messages, forums. People just talk one-on-one on systems that aren't really regulated.
I mean, not to go off on a tangent here, but there was this story from a while back. This is a kind of funny. There was this Discord server where I think it was like a World of Tanks Discord server, and there was this soldier that was like arguing with other people, and they were like, man, you're not a real soldier, you don't have classified information. And to prove a point, this guy just haphazardly took photos of multiple documents of classified information, of like attack plans,
and put it on Discord.
And it went viral. It went everywhere. It was insane.
The scariest part too was they found him. They found him.
Man, can you imagine being that dude right now? Oh my God.
I'm going to look this up after the podcast.
I don't even know what happened to him.
I'm scared to look it up. We're going to be put on the list for looking him up. But the fact of, first off, his access, how quick he was able to post a picture and put it on Discord, how quick everyone else was able to download, share, and then two, the ability of the government to find him. Because a number of us have Discord. Mm-hmm. You could just put an icon and like a little blurb, and that's really it.
Yeah. So, but they found him.
And I mean, that's kind of really what the Patriots are afraid of. They're afraid of all this information and also people being able to talk one-on-one or in small groups with it. Digital information, according to the Patriots, lasts forever, unlike the individual memory retention. Mm-hmm. They're calling us dumb. The Patriots are essentially saying GW and Arsenal gear will be one large censorship system, and that people like you and I will get information it's good enough, and then we keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we're too dumb to really kind of notice what's happening or realize we're not getting the full picture or whatnot.
I mean, there would be no real way to know because there's no way to see the full picture if it's consistently being edited, you know?
Yeah. That is, and
it could be happening right now.
Right now. The Patriots, they're here. Also, Arsenal Gear, again, this is a big lore thump kind of cutscene. Arsenal Gear, again, is a weapon that houses GW. Again, to your point of the body and brain kind of connection. GW is the means by which information can be processed, stored, and deleted. But the actual system that controls what's disseminated is within our social structure already. Mm-hmm. So essentially what Emma is saying is like, yeah, GW can like process all this information. They can do the thing. That sounds so bad. That was so reduced. GW can like process all this information and hold it and kind of like delete stuff. But the way to release all of the controlled or wanted material by the Patriots, that's something that's already within the system of our society.
Yeah, Emma reveals that during the Y2K problem, the governments made a countermeasure program, and it was designed by the Patriots. And this countermeasure program exists in more or less every computer now.
Not only every computer, but also like every major computer. They said every business, but also every individual person's computer. Like it's spread to personal use. I think what's also interesting is that she said our government. So the United States, the program that was released to solve Y2K was released by the American government.
So I think it's alluding that the Patriots is almost exclusively an American thing.
That's kind of the impression I got. You know what I mean? Or at least they're using the U.S. to...
I mean, at least to a broader point, maybe like Western democracy types.
Right, the West, yeah. That's fair. What's funny is that according to our analytics we have some people who don't know what Y2K is. Or, not that, who weren't born during Y2K. Let that sink in for a second for you.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't exactly mature.
You were around.
I was around. I was old enough to see people panicking.
I remember people panicking.
Okay, so to those who are not aware, Y2K is like it's shortened for year 2000. So like year Y2K, 2000, Y2K. The gist of it was that people programmed computers to go up by year in the 20th century. So it would be 1998, 1999. And then when it went up to 2000, for some reason, people didn't program it to go to 2000.
And apparently, I looked it up. That was a legitimate fear. I think I always made fun of it, like now, because I was a child during then, and I see, haha, that's silly. Mm-hmm. But apparently, that was legitimate. People were actually super nervous.
Yeah,
and there was some basis to it.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know why. It's been a long time since I've thought of Y2K, but apparently, it would have caused a lot of problems with the global financial markets. In terms of like, the stock markets, how we communicated through the internet, it would have caused a lot of problems. And whether or not the governments of the world made a countermeasure program, maybe there's, I'll future time this.
Oh, to see if it was an actual countermeasure program?
A countermeasure program, yeah.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Because again, we know the series so far it roots itself in our history. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, like we're hearing about Y2K, we're hearing about the internet. It's kind of semi-realistic. So, like, I'd be interested to hear if there's an actual countermeasure program.
So, future time, huh? Apparently, yeah, that's totally true. We made countermeasure programs. It was primarily the United States and the United Kingdom. And it was basically to fix the bug of the Y2K problem. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Oh man, I'm excited to hear about it. I genuinely kind of want to know right now, but I'll wait.
But I mean, it's interesting that like this whole Arsenal Gear GW program, there was a plan in place for years before those two were created. The Y2K program was a precursor to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I kind of think about like the Patriots really like thought, like they're really powerful. They thought through so much stuff, and they took years to really develop their major plan.
Like they engineered Y2K.
It almost feels like it.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, if they're this powerful, if they're this all-knowing, that must have been planned.
And then like just like how rude of like, we'll give you this program to help with Y2K, and then they're like, hey, we got, you know what I mean? They're like in the back, like, okay, Arsenal Gear and GW. But I think the major thing too, for this kind of like reason for needing to disrupt GW is that GW doesn't have the capabilities to judge situations, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, it's not able to do it on its own to, I guess, understand, like, that whole process, store and delete stuff that we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. And
EE explains that there's an experiment that was supposed to be done in the next couple days to provide complex data for GW to study. And then that's the final piece of this whole GW Arsenal Gear. Like, that's the last thing needed before
like it's finalized, before GW is complete. And then all this happens.
Yeah.
Basically, right before this final test was supposed to start, that's when the terrorists launched their thing. Which, damn. What timing, huh?
Yeah, it's a weird timing. It's a lot of moving parts, and then like moving parts on top of moving parts.
I mean, I guess you could kind of see it as a good thing potentially, because of this whole distraction, GW won't be completed on time.
And due to the distraction, EE can go in, upload this program. Since she created GW, her like cluster worm CD virus, she knows what it needs.
It can work. So, like, I mean, things are looking kind of grim, but there seems to be a light at the end of this tunnel. Like we just need to get Emma to that computer lab, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, and you continue on. You have this big, talk with her. You're getting more information. You continue on. As you continue through the base, the struts to get to the computer room, you have to pass guards. I always forget about this. I've only played Metal Gear Solid 2 once, but
how dare you?
I know, but I forgot that like you also have like there's still soldiers that you have to avoid.
Yeah, it's realistically only like one area that you got to be really mindful of. But they make that room a pain in the ass.
And again, like, mind you, Emma's legs still, she has that numbing agent. When you walk with her, you're literally dragging her by her arm. And she walks very slow.
Yeah, incredibly slow. A tactic that I like to use, especially, it helps for newer players as well. When you exit the elevator, right? Take Emma to the right, and then there's like this little divot in the hallway. Just tuck her in that little corner over there, and then just like go forth and just dispose of all the guards of how you see fit.
You talk about that very specific room that's tricky, right?
There's this little area that like it's a little tricky. And I'm not going to go into specifics because if people want to like do it on their own, I totally agree. But my little tidbit, tuck Emma in that corner, it helps out a lot.
Fair
anyway.
But not only do you have to like pass guards, there's this area where you have to like get rid of sea lice again, like little sea roaches. Because she's not messing with bugs. I don't blame her. Like, I'm avoiding sea lice. I had no idea they were like sea roaches.
Yeah, they now bugs don't. I mean, I don't like bugs at all. Don't get me wrong, but bugs don't bother me like they would you. But the amount of bugs that they see, that would freak me out, man.
And then too, like when you have like you can use the coolant to like make them kind of make the bugs go away. Just like the mob of bugs that like are pushed by the coolant.
Disgusting.
Terrible.
Disgusting.
So, and this poor girl, like, you could tell, like, her legs are weak right now, and so you're just dragging her through all this stuff. I also really want to bring her to the computer room because we didn't mention this. She has a pet bird.
She does have a pet bird.
It's a cute little green thing.
It's like a parrot.
Yes, I forgot what the exact. Rose tells you what kind of bird it is in the future, but it's like a little green thing.
Yeah, I find it funny because like Raiden goes like,
That noisy, overgrown parakeet?
and Emma's like,
Excuse me, he's a parrot.
he's my best friend.
It's literally her best friend. I'm like, oh my god. I'm a little scared of birds too, but it's kind of cute.
Come on, I get a bunch of bird videos on TikTok. They're cute.
They're
Come
kind of
on.
cute, a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So I really want to reunite her with her best friend, the bird.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a name, I think. Otacon.
Oh, it does have a name, Otacon, right?
The bird's name is Otacon, I think. She named it after her brother.
Wow,
Come on.
that's kind of cute.
Okay, back to the game. So you maneuver through all these guards, all these sea lice, and you make it to the lower part of Strut L outside.
Yeah.
So you're literally outside, and it's kind of like this area where you see an oil fence. It's this really thin little path that looks like people can walk on it. But Raiden's like, look, I don't think we both can walk on it at the same time. I need you to go first.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the pontoon bridge too, I think.
Yeah, that might be like a meaning for something.
But it's also like a beautiful sunset.
It's very scenic.
Very scenic. Also, you're like in the middle of the ocean. Very scary in my opinion, but very scenic. So you call Snake and he's like, look, you have to play sniper. There's ciphers, little like drones over there. There's enemy guards. Get the PSG-1 and snipe it while Emma walks over this oil fence.
Mm-hmm. And Raiden, which is hilarious, Raiden says that he did advanced mode level VR training with the PSG-1.
Specifically level 4.
Level 4. And we were like, what level was that again? So we pop in VR missions, and lo and behold, there's an actual level, VR missions, level 4 advanced mode, VR with PSG-1. And honest to God, it's kind of similar to what we're doing right now.
No, it's very. I was actually shocked when we pulled that up because I was like, I see it.
Yeah.
Like, it's specifically 2 with the PSG-1. I was like, damn, this team really thought things through.
On your phone or on another tab, like look up advanced level 4 VR PSG-1 for VR missions. And if you've played this section of Metal Gear Solid 2, it makes sense. And for Raiden,
so you say Raiden is he's good? He got this?
Well, I mean, it's close. It's better than nothing.
There's like life or death in VR.
I mean, Snake literally goes,
Guess it's better than nothing.
And I think too, thankfully, like security should be at a minimum, I believe, because they're preparing for, I think, like the Arsenal Gear launch. No.
Yeah.
So like security should be low. So you should get this. Be careful with claymores. Also, like don't hit EE.
Oh, that's a given. Yeah. you don't want to shoot her.
I think at a certain point too, like when you begin this and EE's walking across and you're shooting the ciphers and whatnot, Snake actually comes and helps you at a certain point.
Yeah, if you can imagine, he's at the other end of the oil fence, and he's kind of like in a mirrored position to Raiden.
So it's kind of like where Emma's walking to.
Yeah.
She's kind of walking away from Raiden towards Snake. So Snake's, you kind of like, you and Snake are looking at each other in a sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, there are 2 little Easter eggs that are in this section that I think is like relevant to bring up, and I think you'd like this. One, when Emma gets to a certain point, you can take out your directional microphone, and Emma kind of like talks about Raiden to be like, what's this guy's deal? He's so weird.
Also, she's been opening up to you about her brother, and like she's like thank you and hugging, like she's doing this such friendly behaviors towards him, and then you listen to this and it's like you bitch.
And she questions if Raiden's hair is real.
No way.
Swear to God. And you can call Emma right then and there. And Raiden goes like, my hair's real, okay?
No, he doesn't.
I swear to God. It's really funny. My hair is real, okay?
What a soldier. What a professional.
It's so funny.
That is so cute.
So then Emma makes her way. And she gets to another point. You could pull out your directional microphone again.
Okay.
And she runs into the best soldier of all time. The soldier that pops up time and time again. Johnny.
Wow.
I know.
What's he doing this time?
Well, I guess he's just patrolling the oil fence. And Emma gets caught. And Johnny's like, oh, don't worry. I'm not going to do anything. And...
Isn't he for the other team?
Yeah. She's like, why aren't you gonna like try to get me or something? And he's like, well, you don't go after beautiful looking women on the battlefield. Otherwise you'll get hit with a bout of diarrhea. That's what I learned in Shadow Moses.
Oh. Wow. So he just leaves you alone?
He just leaves her alone. And then
it had to happen once for him to be like, I have a superstition now.
Like this is it. And then he, of course, gets hit with a bout of diarrhea and he runs away.
So I get if you meet Johnny and he immediately runs to the bathroom, that should be a compliment to you.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, he thinks I'm beautiful. You think it's because he gets a little nervous?
Maybe he gets nervous around the ladies.
Right? Or just beautiful people. He's like, oh, little.
Wow, you're so pretty.
He's like, oh, I gotta go. Wow. Does Emma say anything about him?
I think... Okay, I'm saying this from memory. I think she just says that he's weird or something along the lines of that.
I mean, hey, she has to do anything she can to survive in this moment. She's literally walking on a bridge. Like, it's not meant for, I feel like, human traffic. It's literally... Yeah.
If it is meant for human traffic, it's meant for, like, maintenance workers, specialty people that are supposed to be out there. Not everyday kind of things.
From my recollection, you could tell me if I'm wrong. It's just she holding her hands out to balance herself.
She is.
So this is not, like, a little path.
No, this is not your pedestrian walkway. This is like if someone is going out there, it's for a specialty purpose, you know.
This is a brave young woman. So, if this wasn't bad enough, she's walking on this pathway not meant for daily use. She hears Raiden sniping ciphers and maybe soldiers. She probably sees Snake probably in the distance, doing the same for her. Frightening. If that wasn't bad enough, she gets to a certain point, and who from the heavens jumps down?
Who?
Vamp.
What? Again?
Vamp jumps down from hell. I don't care. He jumps down from hell.
He jumps down from hell.
Jumps down from hell, grabs Emma, and holds her up at knife point.
That's kind of messed up.
And at this point, Raiden has to shoot Vamp to get him off of Emma.
Mm-hmm.
And like Vamp is like holding her and moving her to like try to like get you, I guess, to shoot her. Frightening.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's basically like a big old hostage situation. Well, Raiden is able to get Vamp off of Emma by more or less shooting him in the face.
He snipes him. Where does he hit him at?
I think just in the face.
Again, right?
Again. And he just in the water.
He's surely dead this time.
Yeah, I bet. If he wasn't dead before, he's definitely dead now. Yeah.
Snake comes down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And runs to Emma because she was close enough to Snake. No,
she was close enough to Snake that he could like retrieve her.
Mm-hmm.
It's revealed that Emma was unfortunately stabbed by Vamp.
You think he stabbed her on purpose? Or was it like a thing where he like fell and...
You see, that I'm not 100% sure of.
I will say this. I always thought at this point when I saw the blood in her stomach when Snake got her, I thought I shot her. I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't know what kind of game this had. Like, if it had multiple endings. I thought I shot her.
You know, that could have been an interesting thing. Like, I mean, like the game plays out differently if you shot Emma or not.
You know?
That could have been cool. That could have been cool.
But no, it's the canonical thing for you shoot Vamp, he falls, and Emma stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
Snake grabs her, brings her in, I believe. So you're essentially running over to catch up with Snake, who has EE with him. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that Snake, unquestionably, brings Emma to the computer room.
So as you go over, it's not like you go over the bridge and you're immediately in the computer room. You're in another strut, so you have to maneuver to the computer room.
Yeah, you're at the bottom of Strut E.
Okay.
Which is
the fact that you know that off the top of your head is wild.
I've played this game a lot. It's that place where it's the strut where you fought Fat Man.
Oh, okay.
You're at the bottom level of it.
Okay. Also, too, keep in mind as you enter this strut, a timer is on the top right of your screen.
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered. It sounds stupid. I never thought about what that was. That's EE's like time limit. Essentially.
Yeah. Snake more or less tells Raiden that like she doesn't have a lot of time.
She's dying.
Get over here as soon as you can. So this timer is more or less her time left on Earth.
Have you ever waited for that to go away before?
You know, that's actually a really good question. I've never done that.
I wonder what that ITSTKANDM. Let us know if you've done that yourself. It's tknm@gmail.com. Let us know.
Let us know, please. Now, if there are people who are listening that also watch this stream, I will be streaming Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, you try that?
Relatively soon. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that because I've never even thought of doing that before.
It's probably a simple game over, but I wonder if you get a Kodak or you get like
you probably get like Raiden. It's too late. I'm just wondering what it could be, you know?
Yeah, because... let's just find out.
Yeah.
But you have that time limit, and it's a significant time limit. So you
got plenty of time to do it.
Plenty of time to maneuver through and fight all the guards in this new strut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Snake lets you know that she was able to do something to GW's defenses, right? Like she, I guess, maybe input. She did something.
Yeah,
before,
she was
before the CD is
maybe like preliminary stuff, you know.
I mean, yeah, it is her her device. GW is hers essentially.
If you imagine getting stabbed and you're like, yo, can you like hack into the system real quick?
And she did this before she passed out.
Mm-hmm.
Snake also lets you know that the stab wound got to some organs and they can't stop the bleeding. It's essentially what it is. Like when you catch up with them,
yeah,
they're like, we bandaged her up, but it just keeps. She's bleeding through.
Yeah.
You get there and Raiden has a disc, which makes sense. I was like, why don't I give it to Emma? She's maneuvering across the water. Like, sadly, the most important thing at this moment is the CD. So like you let her go and you hold it, but you catch up. You give Snake the CD and they put it in, and it stops the program. It stops GW. Like, hooray! It's saved. Until
you find out that the count stopped at 90%.
Also, you get a notification. GW had an antibody agent. So this virus that was made to like do whatever to this program, GW had like biology had this failsafe to, I guess, protect against this virus.
It's like it's like merging biology with mecha stuff.
Honestly, I thought about this. I'm thinking now that maybe GW Arsenal Gear and using this language of like the cerebrum, the antibody, I feel like the Patriots are using GW and Arsenal Gear as like, it's like a physical, it's like a representation of them. Like you kind of like make it into this human, like you give it human qualities because it's supposed to be an extension of them when they all die.
Makes sense.
That's kind of how I see it. Because like, oh, this computer had an antibody agent. This is a program. Like, what are we talking about? I even Googled, like, do computers have antibody? I was just checking.
Just double check. Due diligence.
I was like, does a computer have a cerebrum? Like, I was like, maybe I don't know something. And I think they're just mixing the two. Because one, it's supposed to be similar to Fox Die and whatnot. Yeah. But I think, to me, it's the Patriots being like, this is the living embodiment of us.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like thematic, you know?
That's my canon. Once you see that GW had an antibody agent, this is when EE wakes up, and she's like, "Is everything okay? Is it done?" And the camera turns to Snake, and he's like, "Nah." He shakes his head.
No, I know it's a sad moment, but that scene will never cease to not get a little chuckle out of me because it's just like Otacon looks to Snake, and Snake gives Otacon like the most like nah, man, it ain't good right now.
And then it turns back to Otacon. He's like, everything's okay.
Like, damn. I mean, I would do the same thing, but like, it's like,
she's gonna be gone soon, so give her some kind of,
give her a moment of like, everything's gonna be okay. Yeah.
you know, not only that moment, but now, sadly, this is the reunion. There's this sibling reunion between Otacon and Ii as she's dying.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier in that call they had, where she's like, I did this because I hate you, whatever. I joined Metal Gear to like make you mad. She's like, no, like, I did this because I wanted to follow in your footsteps. I thought with Arsenal I could be closer to you. I want you to see me as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And Otacon's like, I could never do that. So at this point, it was interesting because at first you get this idea of like sibling relationship. But in that moment, I saw it like her little kid love for Otacon turned into like this woman, like
this woman love for
almost,
Otacon.
yeah, this almost romantic, like adult love for him. Which is like, because, you know, I questioned, I could never do that. To me, it's like, she's wanting more.
She wants more, which is interesting.
They're not blood, but they're still siblings.
Yeah, it's I guess there's nothing wrong, so to speak, but it's a little icky.
It's icky, yeah. And I think too, like, I still hold the fact that she loves him as like a brother too.
Yeah.
So I think it's also too maybe like her coming of age, becoming a woman, and like, you know, you reunite with this brother who you haven't seen in so long and you love him, and it's like, you know, it's like she's navigating her emotions.
Yeah.
So I give it like a moment where she's just navigating her strong personal feelings.
Yeah, I mean, she went through a traumatic event, and that was it for their relationship. So maybe it caused her to try to process those emotions in a certain way, you know?
No, I really do think, and I think too, you know, before we talk about the moment, because we get more information on what happens, after, you know, she says to Ryan, like, you know, I want you to see me as a woman. She grabs his face. She grabs his glasses. Mind you, she wears glasses. They're fake.
They're for show.
They're for show because she was idolizing Otacon.
Mm-hmm.
She takes his glasses and then she just dies.
Yeah.
She dies in that room.
But wait, her last words was, "Don't call me EE, call me Emma."
Emma.
And Otacon says,
What's wrong with EE?
and then that was it.
Oh. See me as a woman.
Ooh.
I to me, the way I took that was like, see me as not the little girl you know. Like, I am whether it's romantic or not, I am a woman.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Emma. Like, see me.
Yeah.
Now he sees her, she's gone.
Yeah.
Otacon he can't catch a break.
Nah, man. He is distraught. He's immediately brought back to Shadow Moses when Sniper Wolf dies.
He mentions her by name.
Yeah. Which, honestly, to this day, I'm a little surprised by, because I always thought that his infatuation with Sniper Wolf was almost like a Stockholm Syndrome.
Which is, I read Stockholm Syndrome is like a fake term.
Oh, it's a fake term?
Did you hear the background of Stockholm Syndrome?
I did not.
Oh my God. That's too much for this podcast. Everybody look it up. It's actually, like, people don't credit it as an actual thing anymore.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
We'll talk about it later. Look
Okay.
it up, though. We're ready to over an hour in.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You want to do Future Tom?
Yeah, I'll future time it. Okay, so Kay wasn't lying. This led me down a very, very deep rabbit hole. But to sum it up, I sourced something from a book called See What You Made Me Do by Jess Hill. She more or less says that Stockholm Syndrome was invented by a police psychiatrist to discredit a female hostage in a 1973 bank heist. Ever since then, it was more or less a phrase that was adopted by the media and not a phrase that was widely used by psychiatrists. And when psychiatrists debated on what Stockholm Syndrome was, they couldn't even come to a consistent agreement. So it's more of a pop culture illness than an actual thing, which is interesting. More you know. All right. Well, I will just say that Otacon was in a one-sided relationship with Sniper Wolf, at least to me. Maybe maybe there was something more. But I've always been taken aback with his relationship with Sniper Wolf. But that's a whole other topic.
I mean, I just think that Sniper Wolf showed him some kind of compassion, and also she was like this fully fledged character with like a traumatic history herself. Like she was, part of a terrorist group essentially, but I feel like she brought so much more than just like a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
I think to Otacon at that moment, it was like I am going through this traumatic event. I connected with someone who's experienced real pain and who's also like more than just this villain, and they're gone. Like I think it was just like a sad thing. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think this moment right here with Emma compounds on it. So that was just a sad thing. Like, oh, that's rough. But it happened again to me.
That's true.
You know, like again. And it's also someone who I was close to, like my sister now. Like I think it's just those two in conjunction are just.
Like it's happening to me again.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's almost like, what's wrong with me? Mm-hmm. And like you said, he's just crying in this room.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, your sister died in your arms, Snake
and Raiden, it's kind of sad too. They're in there and like they just look off like into the floor. Like they don't know how to comfort him.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah. At this point, I think we want to put like a little trigger warning. Future Tom, can you tell us at what point we get over this section?
Please skip to 1 hour and 15 to dodge this specific trigger.
Okay.
Future Tom's putting in a lot of work this episode.
Future Tom, I'm so sorry. Future Tom, that time that he listed is one you can skip to if you want to avoid this kind of like, we're talking about a traumatic moment right now. Mm-hmm. It's just a very sad discussion of Otacon's backstory. We're beginning now. Otacon reveals what happened the day that his father drowned.
Mm-hmm. We only knew up to this point that Otacon was busy in his room.
Essentially, what was happening was Otacon and his stepmother had quote-unquote a relationship. That is how Otacon words it. Mm-hmm. Otacon was a minor.
Yeah, Otacon was a victim of his mother for quite some time.
Yeah.
And he said it just kept going on, and he didn't know how to make it stop.
I honestly get goosebumps now because he's honestly a survivor of abuse.
Yeah.
And it's sad because in this instance, you also hear him like, she seduced me. Like he's like almost pleading, like I didn't know what to do. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and he was a kid. Like he didn't know.
And then to even add more, like, was it insult to injury to this? Otacon's dad finds out. And instead of this hopefully being a moment where, like, Otacon is removed from the situation, like, gets him away from this predator, whatnot, Otacon's dad essentially
kills himself by drowning himself in the pool and nearly killing Emma in the process.
He tried to kill both of them, right? He dragged Emma into the pool?
From what I remember, yeah, that's what happened.
So sadly, during a moment where Otacon was being abused by his mother, what?
That is such a fucked up thing.
What?
Well, like you could see almost where Otacon's dad was going with this, where he's like, "You're doing that to my son. Well, I'm gonna do this to your daughter."
And it's
that's messed up, man.
And and it's funny because at both points, the children are not even being considered. Yeah. Like at no point is it like we gotta save these kids. It's like tit for tat. I'm gonna get back at you because what have you did to me? And the kids are just pawns in this situation.
Yeah.
This episode's gonna be explicit. Like this conversation is rough for you. I apologize. I think it's important. I think to discuss it because it is in the game. And I think too,
It's a pivotal part of Otacon as a person.
and I think too, like the game, of course, you know, it moves past this, but we want to give it the weight it deserves because this is really a serious and bad situation. It's not a funny situation.
It's not. It's definitely not.
You know, he was a victim. So we're ending that now. That's kind of the backstory, and that's why Emma and Otacon haven't seen each other because after that incident, Emma and her mom moved to Europe.
Yeah, I believe they went to England.
And then that was the last time. So, and Emma had no idea about this.
Mm-hmm.
She had no idea.
Yeah, even to her dying breath, she didn't know.
Just, you know. But Otacon expresses this. And I think what's even sad, too, is the parrot, remember, this is, Emma's pet bird is in this room, too.
Yeah.
It begins saying Otacon's name.
That's Hal.
I'm getting emotional now.
And the only way that that parrot would know that is if Emma said that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, Emma really missed Otacon.
I'm getting emotional now.
It's
Why am I getting emotional now?
because it's just sad. It's just so sad.
And I think too, forgive me, Mr. Randolph, the voice actor for Otacon, he does like he's literally crying in this cutscene. Like it's Otacon breaking down. It's you know. It's even worse that there's no time for Otacon to grieve because his crying's interrupted by a radio announcement. Remember, we're in the middle of a computer room.
Oh yeah, that's happening. Right. Where were we?
We're trying to stop Arsenal Gear and GW.
I forgot what we were even talking about before.
The radio announcement states, Arsenal Gear is ready for launch. Evacuate the upper levels immediately. So what that means is that they're going to cut this area loose that you're in with Snake and Otacon, and it's going to sink.
Mm-hmm.
Snake and Otacon, they're like, look, there's actually hostages still here.
Yeah, they should.
I forgot about them.
Yeah, I mean, if they are where we left them, they should be in Shell 1 still.
Okay.
The core of Shell 1.
I see. The Kamov, that's the helicopter that Snake was in when you were fighting Solidus.
Yeah.
It's basically done with repairs, I think, but it doesn't have a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, we have to get the hostages. Like, we're going to have to really push it, but we're going to have to make use of all the space we can. And Otacon makes a decision to leave Emma's body in that room.
And that's tough. That's got to be really tough.
No one asked him to. Like, Snake didn't even. I didn't get the. I didn't get the impression that he was alluding to it. He's just like, look, we got to make space. And Otacon of his own was like, we got to leave her here.
Yeah, and that's very big of him to do. I don't know if I would have the strength to make a move like that.
Yeah, honestly, Otacon goes, I'm always a survivor. Like, I'm always, again, referencing Sniper Wolf, bringing back that moment.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Snake is like, look, Otacon, like, take care of this, get the hostages. I'm gonna go with Raiden. We gotta go just continue on with our goal of like stopping Arsenal Gear and GW. Otacon is he's strong, but he's wavering. He's still emotional.
Yeah, rightfully so. He went through quite an ordeal just now.
The last few minutes.
And Snake is like, it's a short flight to the shore, so don't worry about overloading the Kamov. Just get them to safety.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, oh, you mean like I just only get in your way?
Yeah, we're separating because you don't need me.
Yeah. And he's like, no, only you could save those hostages. And they share in this beautiful little moment that it's one of my favorite moments in the game, and maybe one of my favorite moments in the series.
Yeah.
Where they share this like hug. They have like this really cool handshake.
Yo, because handshake only the two of them know.
And they share this hug together. And you get the real sense of like love that these two guys have with each other.
And I feel like the cutscene itself, like the camera work, like I feel like it really focuses too, like on the hug. It pans to each of their faces. Both of them have their eyes closed. They're like really Like this is a real important hug
Yeah, I love a little note that you said
that I wrote.
Yeah, Snake and Otacon give the handshake and hug to end all handshakes and hugs, like a hug where you close your eyes. I love these guys so much. That is such a cute little note, and like the idea, like it never occurred to me. It's like the type of hug where you close your eyes. I'm like, that's romance. That is such a romance.
That's like love, and that's like think about the last person you hugged and you closed your eyes and like leaned into. That's
a loved one.
Exactly. Yeah. That is a loved one.
Like that's not you hugging a friend.
You know? So I feel like, or like it's a close friend. You know, like that's a person.
Like that is family.
Yep.
Or a loved one. That is someone that is your ride or die. Mm-hmm. You know.
And so like I know when I wrote this note, I was just like this after everything, and like Snake is just like, no, like you got this, we got this, like it was it was consoling as much as possible in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know. They separate. We see Otacon go into a room, I guess, you know, navigating to get the cam off, whatnot. And he exits into the doorway. Door closes, so he's by himself and just starts crying again.
Because the parrot starts saying, and this is so messed up, it says, Hal, I miss you.
Hal, I miss you.
Oh!
He laments to himself that like him and EE were just lonely people. He's like, that's what we had in common. He says, in quote, I realized that you can't just wish for a happy family. You have to make it happen. It's like I learned too late, essentially. But essentially he realized like I can love and I'm capable of love. I have to make that choice.
You have to work for it.
You know?
And just looking at what he just shared with Snake, I assume that that's what he's talking about. Like, that's the type of love that you got to make happen.
I think so too, right? To say that, I like that. He's making a choice to love, and he's making a choice to be and work with Snake.
Mm.
Whatever you think is going on, we know they're a couple, but whatever you think is going on, he's choosing to make that friendship, that relationship, that love work.
Yeah.
That family, you know? But such a rough moment, honestly. When we were doing our research for this podcast, I forgot like how significant that cutscene was.
Yeah.
You know? Whew. You okay?
Yeah, it's a very heavy part of the game.
Yeah. You know, and I think too, like when I don't know if it happens now, but there's a point where we see the water coming in to that room and we just see EE in that room. Like, won't we just see her body as the water's coming in?
I believe you do, yeah.
Like, it's just such, like, through all this terrorist hostage situation, nuclear weapons, Metal Gear, you have this moment of family and of...
It's so sad, man. Like, damn.
You know? Like, Ryan is not the only person going through it.
No.
You know? But anyway, we come back to Snake. And he's with Raiden and chilling. They're going through it too. But they're walking together.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, Snake's like, you can come out now. The ninja jumps down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you waiting on me to say something? I'm so sorry.
I want to drink my coffee. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, the ninja comes down, and Raiden is like, what? Who? And they're just like, Arsenal's about to take off. We need you to take care of a few things. So this time, don't fail us. And Raiden's like, what is going on? Are you switching sides? And Snake is like, switching sides? I don't recall saying I was on yours. And I'm like, this asshole. We just had a moment.
Literally,
okay?
I just comforted your boyfriend. Like, literally, we've been through so much, and you're gonna do me like this?
Holy hell, man.
Also, another beautiful part. The ninja presses a button on its helmet, and it's Olga.
The ninja is revealed to be Olga Golukovich.
Which is funny because if you think about it, in previous cutscenes, there were moments where Olga was like, who is this ninja? This is not someone from my team.
She's just being a little silly person.
You're a little silly lady.
I would like to think that maybe she's like really proud of what she's doing as the ninja, and she wants to hype herself up. So she's on the radio and she's like, I heard the ninja like jumped 20 feet in the air and dodged 47 bullets and then deflected the other 170 with its sword. Did you hear that? I was there. I saw it with my own eyes.
They're not from my team, but they should be because they're just so cool.
Wow, that ninja is really great.
And their butt looks great too.
Yeah, they are incredible. Did you see the amount of muscular appendages that this ninja has? They must work out heavily.
Also, on a more serious note, so she was talking to Solidus and was like, hey, I don't know who this ninja is. Her boss is Solidus.
So is it revealed that she's working with Snake?
Who
is she working for?
Yeah, who is she?
Who is she now?
As we have these questions, she knocks Raiden out with a taser.
Great.
And he's knocked out.
He's just out.
And we are ending there. Oh my Lord.
What an episode. Honestly, like when we were writing down the notes for this, I was just like, oh, this is heavy. We're going through government conspiracies, family trauma, and nonsense. This is gonna be nuts.
No, yeah, this episode is gonna be a lengthy one. It might honestly be around 2 hours. And you're welcome. Enjoy. We had fun doing this. Mm-hmm. But before we end, we wanted to do a real quick summary and like a little bit of an analysis of what really happened.
Yes. Okay, so this game went through a lot of different ideas. Mm-hmm. And we thought that it would help people who listened this far to help break down the broader ideas and help make them a little bit more approachable.
And I think too, like we were mentioning at the beginning of this podcast episode, an hour and a half ago or whatever, provide some like real world context. Like what was the world like when this game was released? Mm-hmm. I think it adds so much to the game, and then also kind of like why this game is so revered. Yeah. In a sense. Because this game is, if you talk to people in the fandom, this is most likely their favorite game.
Yeah, and if you think about in the release order, right? Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 were pretty basic. The
MSX.
They were fun, but they had the plot line of like a Mega Man game. You know what I mean? Like, nothing wrong with that. But it was simple. Metal Gear Solid upped the ante, but it wasn't really like a grand critique of society. Yeah. It had its critiques, but like it wasn't cutting so deep with it, you know?
No, this game's a commentary.
This game, huge commentary.
This game has something to say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to basically kind of sum up what's happening so far in this game, the Patriots want to censor the internet. If you think about when this game came out, this was 2001. Mm-hmm. For all of us who are older, that's kind of around the time when we all started getting computers.
Yeah, and really think about it right now. There's in circa 1998, 1999, 2000. Imagine the amount of websites you knew back in the day.
True. Yeah.
The amount of variety that was out there. And compare that to what is the internet now. Like what people use YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
TikTok. And you said Facebook maybe? Yeah, right?
Yeah, I said, but like, what is that? 5? And if you think about it, that's only like 3 companies.
That's the interesting part. I remember back in the day when we got our first computer, I want to say in 2001, and it was literally half the fun was searching for new websites. I think in a previous episode, or maybe this was from I think Johnny Flores from Metal Gear Resurrections. He spoke about going to MetalGearSolid.com, MetalGear.net. Like you're just looking.
And then I brought up this ancient site called ZogDog. And ZogDog was basically like an internet forum that discussed video games. And he was like, yo, I was on there too. And I was like, that was sick. But like there were like little communities out there that were like that. And that is little to non-existent anymore. All those communities have passed on. Either that or they're on Reddit, which is another thing.
Yeah.
Because everything is under the umbrella of being a subreddit now.
Yeah, and it's under one website.
Yeah.
And I think too, when you talked a second ago about like 3 companies really owning everything that we use, I mean, we did some kind of like little research, and we were just thinking about like, if we think about Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like how many people are really on these websites daily? We look billions
Billions of people
daily. What, 1 billion TikTok users per day, 2 billion active Facebook users daily.
And that honestly surprised the hell out of me. 2 billion active Facebook users?
You know?
That's it. That's crazy.
Facebook and I think Instagram are under the same umbrella now too.
Yeah.
You have 1.35 billion Instagram users. And I think too, what's even more interesting is Google. And I wanted to point out Google because I'm thinking about like, you know, when we search for anything online, you're like, oh, okay, Google will have it. Like, it's not gonna be biased, or it's not gonna be.
It's just a search engine.
We found a Twitter post, and it's hilarious because this is from February 5th of 2024, this year,
Very
a few
recent.
days ago.
Yeah.
Defunct Land, they're a great YouTube channel. They do like really big analysis stuff.
Yeah, they do like little documentaries about different theme park attractions. It's really interesting.
Amazing. Defunct Land, one word. They had a tweet. They said, it finally happened. I could not find something on Google that I knew existed, so I binged it and I found it immediately. And people are like, well, you sure? Like, what are you talking about? They literally said that what I was looking for was on Google months ago. I came back and it must have been removed. Like, what's the situation?
Like Google, for some reason, removed the ability to search for what they were looking for.
And they were searching for this person, I guess, is doing an American Idol documentary or something, because they were looking for like bad experiences at American Idol, something very benign.
Yeah.
But I think too, like, if we think about like that even being a possibility, why would something I search for that I consider benign, whatever, why is it gone?
Why is it being censored?
I
mean, in a sense, that's what Google was doing, right?
You know?
And I raise you this. Hypothetically, if Mark Zuckerberg...
we sound so nuts right now.
I know, but like this game is nuts.
Yeah.
But like, hear me out. Put your tinfoil hats on, kids.
I'm ready.
All right. If Mark Zuckerberg...
Twitter?
No, Mark, that's Facebook. And
Sorry.
Instagram.
You see, I'm nervous. Okay, I'm nervous. Tinfoil hat. I'm sorry.
If Mark Zuckerberg...
Facebook.
Elon Musk...
Twitter.
And the CEO for Google, we don't know their name at the moment.
We should look it up.
We should have looked it up. But anyway, if they got together in some smoke-filled room and did like some Illuminati shit, right? And wanted to censor, I don't know, an idea to bring forth some sort of
like a specific viewpoint.
They want to promote a specific viewpoint. They have the tech to make that happen. And we wouldn't know.
Yo, you said this is a tinfoil. Yo, your voice right now, we wouldn't know.
I know. I sound like a crazy person, don't I? But it's...
Hey, crazy ableists don't do it.
Look,
you sound wild right now.
I do say... Okay, look. Hear me out, okay? All I'm saying is that this is outlandish and is probably not true.
Yeah.
But the idea that if somebody were to just hold hands with another person and be like, hey, you want to go censor the internet today? And that's like a legit possibility?
Because those people own the biggest websites we all use right now.
Mm-hmm.
Google is the main search engine for
everyone.
Let's be for real, everyone.
Like I know Bing is out there, but not everybody uses Bing. And everybody uses Google.
And let's say you're like, you know what? I'll just make a new website. To make a new website, the main way to do it is to partner with Google. Google has a service.
And then on top of that, like there have been multiple studies that prove if you don't find your search result on the front page of Google, like if you search up, I don't know, you want to find like a new leash for your dog, you're not going to the second and third page of Google. You're going to the first. So all Google has to do, if they want to suppress your small business dog leash company is to just put it on the 3rd or 4th page and no one will ever find it.
And for the person who runs the Fun Clan, if they just gave up after Google, that would have been it.
Yeah.
What you were looking for, you would have kind of like what was stated earlier about individual memory retention. Remember, the Patriots were saying that like memory retention of individuals don't last long. This person was like, I'm focused on finding this. But the normal person, if you're not looking for anything super specific or like super intense, you're like, okay, whatever. That the fact that the Fun Clan person was like, you know what, let me go to Bing, let me try this and find it.
And that's wild.
That is honest. It was just so funny. I saw that and I was like, this ties in with Metal Gear Solid 2.
But like what is crazy is that it'd be one thing if they couldn't find it on Google at all. The fact that it existed on Google.
Yeah.
And now it no longer exists.
I mean, this is a whole other conversation about like, also we think about algorithms and like people tailoring content to you, but that's a whole different thing. But essentially what we wanted to say was like, what the Patriots want to do makes sense. It makes sense and it's kind of plausible and feasible.
Because you can also think about it like this. Remember all those websites that I mentioned before? A lot of them are still up. And you could go to them and you could read all these forums from 2006. And honestly, kind of cool.
Yeah,
like
when we were doing some research for other episodes, we found like 09 forum posts.
Yeah, and honestly, there was this one website that I found. I was reading House of Leaves recently. There was a website dedicated to people that were reading House of Leaves, and it was from the late 90s and early 2000s.
I didn't even realize that. That's awesome.
And it was like opening up a time capsule. It was insane. But sadly, it's not an active site anymore. So what the Patriots would essentially do is just off that website. No one's using it. Who cares?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess what, we, tinfoil hat jokes aside, like we just wanted to kind of express like, this is something that is feasible and that people do have concerns about, especially when you think about censorship. Speaking of censorship, let's talk about when this game came out. This game came out back in 2001, specifically November of 2001.
Oh.
This game started out with saving hostages, and now we're talking about global control and censorship and Y2K. Like, I feel like, what was Kojima trying to do by having this topic? What was he trying to say?
Man, I don't even...
You know what I mean?
I know what he was trying to say, but I don't know what could have inspired him to have this conversation.
This is the game where people began like that meme of like Kojima being a psychic.
Oh, yeah, because he predicted so much crap with this game.
We're talking about surveillance. We're talking about... This game came out in November of 01. Of course, we all know.
What happened a month earlier than that.
And to talk about like this group of people wanting to control information and seeing what people are writing about. The Patriots were mad that Solid Snake was becoming a hero and they were trying to like delete all the information from him. Think about like surveillance after 9/11. I don't know how we got to this topic on this podcast, but like
but here's the thing. That is what this game does. Like this game is like it has such like a crazy story that it brings out these conversations, and that's why people revere this game.
I mean, I feel I want to go more into, maybe we'll do a 201 episode of Metal Gear Solid too.
Oh, 100%. To delve into all this, it's only fair.
But essentially, I mean, with like 9/11 and like the Patriot Act, we're talking about like we have governments who are like, in the name of fighting terrorism, we're gonna make sure we are able to monitor electronic information, your email. We're gonna make sure like, we're gonna be able to tap into your lines if we suspect.
Yeah. People willingly gave up their freedoms to feel a little bit safer. Now, doesn't that sound like the Patriots taking away your right to look at a free and open internet because it makes you a little bit safer? Like, it's the same thing.
But I think, too, what I think we should harp on, you said willingly. The Patriots aren't doing it willingly.
That's
they're not.
well-
We're not doing it willingly. The Patriots are saying this is what's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
We know we're the Wise Men's Committee. We know what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
We know what you want. We have a vision for you. We're gonna provide you with this information that's cool and safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think too, like, I mean, to have this game released in November,
That's bad timing.
it's bad timing, but I think too, like, there's been, you know, sadly that event led to so much like controversies and conspiracies and whatnot, and this game kind of feel like fuels that fire of like distrust and distrust and just like fear of just like the unknown. I mean, the internet too was so new.
Yeah. I mean, the internet was, I don't know, I feel like the basics of the internet were around in like the 80s, but it really started kicking up into high gear in like the 90s.
I mean, talking about like person to person exchange of information, like what the Patriots are fearful of, with the internet, you can talk to some random in a different country in the span of minutes.
Yeah, when we spam, I don't know what the hell is wrong with me right now, but when we stream on Twitch, we have people from Scotland, we have people from India,
And we're in New York.
we have people from Ireland, we have the far-reaching country of Canada.
of Canada, you know, like we there's people who watch us from across the globe. We talk to people like they're watching us, like, oh, we're watching a streamer in New York.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like the idea that just two random people in New York could have instant access to people all across the globe is incredible. And that's something that the Patriots doesn't want you to have.
Because I mean, like, too, we could say something real quick, and like they wouldn't be able to catch that in time. The minute I tell someone in Canada, like, oh, like mustard is disgusting, like before they can censor that, it's already there. That thought,
It's gone.
You know, it's gone.
And then they'll be like, no, actually, mustard's really good. Which it is, by the way.
Mustard's fantastic. The last point, and I think too, this is a larger question, but this game was created by Hideo Kojima and his team, which I wish I knew more people's names. But this was created by a Japanese man, a Japanese team of developers, but it's set in New York. And we are also two New Yorkers discussing this.
Kind of funny.
We're missing an entire viewpoint. Like Kojima himself grew up with certain beliefs. He grew up literally across the world. Like, what was his view, his upbringing? What did he like feel about the internet? What did he feel about American history? Because this is set in New York. So what did he feel about New York and American history? And you know what I mean?
Yeah, there is. If Kojima has said this in an interview at the past, please let me know. But I would have loved to have picked his brain on what inspired him to make this story. Like, what event did you see that made you think, oh, that's information run amok? I would love to make a game about that.
You know? I mean, again, like, back to that meme of Kojima being a psychic. Like, did he see the internet? And him and many others were like, I don't know, this is...
Yeah, I mean, I could only assume that maybe that there was some concern at the time about, rampant internet growth. But I don't know. It just seems like a novel idea at the time.
Yeah, now everyone, like, yeah, that's a very common. But yeah, back then it's like, it was honestly just all excitement.
Yeah. From what I understood, I mean, I was around technically. But Y2K and all that stuff, like there was like an excitement for the internet. I remember there was like almost like a naivete about the internet, about connecting to people.
No, I mean, we were all in chat rooms with people across the you know what I mean? We were all just like, hey, how
But that was advertised as like, oh, this is cool, until it wasn't. But
yeah.
it like
Like people fucking ruined it. But I remember my mom because my mom has always been a big, you know her, like always been a big techie. My mom was one of the smartest people I know. And I remember before Windows, the operating system, she had a Macintosh, and it was that old school black screen with the.
Oh, you had one of those?
Yes, and
Wow.
she would just mess with it. And my mom was very young. She was like, oh my gosh, she was in her early 20s doing that.
What, she like took it apart and stuff?
Yes.
That's
and
cool.
My mom was OD.
She had like a soldering gun and shit? Like,
My mom was going in.
wow, that's cool.
And then when Windows came out, the operating system, AOL, I remember her as a kid be like, yo, I was talking to people in different states. She was like, I was talking to someone in like Tennessee, I think. Like, I think she was just like, you were just like, oh my God, I could talk to someone I don't know across the US, you know? And I feel like too, like for Kojima and other people to be like, what is this gonna mean? Like, what is this gonna result in? He was kind of, he had some, like you said, I'm curious to know what made him feel that way.
Yeah, I want to know that inception moment, so to speak. Like, what gave birth to this idea?
You know, and for those of you, I'm curious about your ideas. Remember, it's tknm@gmail.com. I'm curious, what was your take with this game? Again, we're two New Yorkers, born and raised, who play this game. We have our own viewpoints. This is the scene is set by us. You know what I mean? Like, this game is set by us.
We can go to Federal Hall.
I walk by it for work like all the time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I feel like we have such a viewpoint, and like when we talk about like all of this, like we have our own beliefs and experiences to guide us. What did you think when this game came out, or like when this switch from stopping terrorists to like now preventing Illuminati from censoring the world? What was your take on this?
Okay.
Oh, you want to go in?
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I was first playing this game, I genuinely had no idea what was happening. I believe I was like around 10 or 11 years old when this game came out. I wasn't like the age demographic, so to speak, but I was such a fan of the first one, and I was like, I have to play this game. I have to do it. And I was so like the game was just fun to play, so I just kept playing it and playing it and playing it, and I wanted to get like a no alert run. I wanted to get a no kill run.
So you were very much more like into like the gameplay, and like it was fun.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was more about the gameplay than anything else. And then as I got older, like a few years,
What'd you say?
like middle school into high school,
Okay.
like the ideas really began to sink in. That might have been part of my political awakening. I mean, I would be surprised if it wasn't, but it really like fascinated me with how it viewed the world, and it made me want to question things, not in like a tinfoil hat way, but like being cautious of what exactly you're being led to believe, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like it's a very interesting point. You had two very different paths to go down when you get to that kind of...
Oh, I know.
Crossroads.
I'm really glad I'm on the path I'm on, because there's another path, and I'm glad I'm not on it.
You were at a very pivotal point in your life. And especially, too, I think about, like, how old you were. And when we think about young kids on the internet around the age of 14 and so...
My brain was so smooth. It was the smoothest brain. You could slip on it.
No, but then, too, like, just, like, what you have access to and being a young man in that really very hormonal, delicate age of 14. And, you know, I think about, too, like, your upbringing. And I could imagine, like, you had one of...
Yeah, I could have went another way. I see the path, and I'm glad I didn't go that way.
But we're gonna end the podcast here. Let us know how you experienced this. I mean, as you probably can expect, we're moving towards the end of this game. We expect 2 more episodes, but we're hitting the crux of like what's going on.
Yeah, and we're getting to a point where we're discussing ideas now, because I feel like up until this point, we really were just like going through the beats of the game and giving a commentary throughout. But I feel like Metal Gear Solid 2 is the point where you really start to talk about the broader aspects of what Kojima and his team were really bringing forth.
Yeah. And I mean, this not only is it, a game that many fans say is their favorite, but this is also like video game as an art form. Like all games are great. Like, so there's fantastic games that don't have to have a message. This one was trying to say something, So I really do think like this was a really big turning point in the series. Yeah, we're gonna end it here. Thank you for listening all the way through. If you want us to go more in depth about like our own viewpoint on like censorship and basically the time period of which this game was set, we can talk about that in 201 if we want.
Yeah, I feel like that's fitting for a 201.
But it's, I think, very important to understand why this game is revered, and part of that is understanding kind of the fear people had with Y2K, understanding the time period that this game was set in, and also just a larger idea of just like surveillance and control. This is a game that you're supposed to save the president. Now it's like, no, I need to save the common man.
Save the idea of like free thought. Like, that's crazy. What are we doing?
Right. And the funniest part about this is that Raiden, so much is going on, he can't even digest this yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think Raiden in this moment is just trying to get from one moment to the other. And he's just like, I need to survive this.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense. I don't fault him for that. But everyone, have a good day. Thank you. If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much.
You're a real one. Thank you.
You get a gold star. Love you so much. We will be back in 2 weeks with episode 7. Anything to end with?
No, not really anything in particular. If you listened this far, it would mean a lot to rate us, preferably highly. But give us a fair rating. I would love to know how we're doing.
Yes. Please, I second that. Please leave a review, rate it. Again, be constructive. We can take some pointers.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, a user a little while ago said, "Hey, it was rated as explicit. I can't listen to it." So we took the liberty of bleeping us in a little fun little way.
This one is gonna have to be explicit though.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have to bleep it.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't gotta do that. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I'm sorry to that other user, but
sorry.
It's kind of a pain to bleep every curse. But sorry, bro.
When he gets older, he'll listen to this.
Yeah.
But yes, please leave a review, leave a rating. Let us know how we're doing. It's tknm@gmail.com. Anything else?
No, I believe that's all.
Thank you, T. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.